Hi, it's Danielle. Welcome to my perfume journal. So, in 2026, after looking at my own personal perfume data trends from 2025, I set an intention to cut back on the number of blind buys and full bottles that I add to my collection, even the affordable ones, and to do more sampling and maybe buy more decants. And I made this decision because I noticed that I decluttered about 30% of the perfumes that I bought new in 2025. And that just felt a little bit wasteful to me personally. So, quick story. A couple of years ago, I kind of cut back on sampling because there was someone online who made some sort of like underhanded comments about perfume sampling to me in that weird way that people can communicate online. And then I realized that I kind of let that person gaslight me into thinking that sampling a lot was a bad thing. And so I stepped back and I was like, you know what? You don't get to tell me how to enjoy my hobby. If I want to accumulate 1,000 samples, I am going to accumulate 1,000 samples and I'm going to enjoy sniffing every single one of them. So if I could encourage or influence anyone here to commit to one thing, it would just be to enjoy this hobby, enjoy this interest, enjoy perfume on your own terms to the fullest. So this year, you will probably see a huge variety of perfumes on this channel because this year I'm feeling less about the bottles and more about the little vials and the decants. I'm feeling more exploration and discovery. So you could think of me as like your tiny desk concert of perfume channels. I'm just here for good vibes, for the love of perfume, for exploring, discovering, and chatting perfumes together. So today I'm going to tell you about some of the perfumes I have been sampling in the month of January. So the first perfume I sampled this month was Bambini soap from the Korean brand Villa Erbatium. So I chose this sample as a freebie from an order that I placed at Lucky Scent several months ago. And this perfume I gave a full wear test to. So Bambini soap is a blend of Dove soap, Nivea cream, and laundry powder. It is much stronger than the name suggests. It does not smell like a baby soap or a baby wash or the special like laundry detergent that you can buy for washing a baby's clothing. It is much richer than that. On skin, it smells much creamier than it does on clothing. On my clothes, this perfume brought out more laundry powder, and on my skin, it was more Dove soap and Nivea cream. So the notes of this perfume are orange blossom, bergamot, mimosa, freesia, musk, and amber. And I was not at all surprised to see the florals listed because this perfume does have kind of a fluffy quality to it, kind of like when you pull towels fresh out of the dryer. But I was actually really surprised that Lily of the Valley was not listed as a note because this has a bit of that green Lily of the Valley fresh quality that you get in bars of white soap and laundry detergent. So the verdict on this perfume is that I found it absolutely lovely. I could see myself reaching for this perfume quite often, and I used up the whole entire sample already, and I would definitely consider a bottle of this. Now for $130 for 50 ml, this is on the pricey side for me personally. So I might go for like a 5 or a 10 ml decant first because I feel like a $20 to $40 investment would be worth it to be able to reach for this one more often without spending $130 on 50 ml of perfume. But overall, I thought this was absolutely beautiful, a wonderful, wonderful perfume. Okay, next I finally got to some samples that I received in swaps with some of my perfume pals. And I'll start with Iris Ebène from Atelier Materi. So I sampled this one on my hand. And when I first sprayed it on, I got a smoky iris. But then after leaving it on for a while, I realized that it's actually more leathery than it is smoky. So my first impression that I wrote down were peppery, dry, austere, almost depressing. This perfume is woody, it's moody, it's very serious smelling. And I thought I liked it at first, but then the problem for me is that it turned into that tarry, burnt rubber aroma chemical smell that I detect in a lot of modern perfumes after about 10 minutes. And I know that Cass from Skin Sense for Fusspots and I share the same olfactory receptors that seem to bring out this tarry aroma chemical immediately for us. It's some kind of amber wood or ambery, woody ambroxan combination that's really prevalent in a lot of perfumes that I smell. But I also know that not everyone perceives it and not everyone has a problem with this. So take my impression of that for what it's worth. The notes of Iris Ebène are pimento, mandarin, petitgrain, red mandarin, iris, suede, pink pepper, musk, sandalwood, and Peru balsam, which pretty much tracks what I smell in this perfume. You can really kind of like pull out all of those notes. But overall, this is a leathery iris that's heavier on the woody end of iris and less floral. So how much of this perfume would I want? And this is definitely a perfume that I will put in my bowl of samples to share to see if it works out better for someone else. So next up is Latte Mimosa from New Notes. I was really excited about this one because I had tried another perfume from New Notes. It was called Talco, and I really enjoyed that one. It's a very baby powdery kind of scent that I enjoyed wearing to bed. So I was hopeful that Latte Mimosa would also be a winner for me. So when I sprayed this on, I got a super strong alcohol blast in the opening. But then once it settled, it actually started to remind me of Belle de Grace from Fragonard, which is a very fluffy, pillowy mimosa perfume. And I was like, okay, yes, I like this. This is good. But then about 30 to 45 minutes later, it turned exceedingly strong with that ambrofix type aroma chemical that is put into this that is meant to keep it strong AF. It did not have that tarry aroma chemical kind of feel to it, but it was just booming off of my skin. So as far as I can tell, all of New Notes perfumes are extracts, which means that they are definitely marketed to be extremely, extremely strong, something that is very much what many consumers seem to be looking for, but I really struggle with very strong perfumes, which is ironic considering I love so many perfumes from the 80s, but strong modern perfumes for some reason just don't seem to work very well on me. So where Belle de Grace from Fragonard is light and airy and cloud-like, this felt like a weighted mimosa blanket. So just to contextualize this, the notes of Latte Mimosa are mimosa, bergamot, jasmine, ylang ylang, iris, musk, vanilla, and sandalwood. And because of the strength of this perfume, I feel like I did not get any of the nuances of these beautiful notes. Maybe a little bit of the vanilla, maybe. But to me, it was mostly just this very weighty, very heavy mimosa. So this will be another perfume that I put in my samples to share bowl, as one sampling of this was plenty for me. Okay, the next day I sampled Ambra from Santa Maria Novella, a sample that they gave me when I added my beloved Melograno to my collection last year. Okay, so this perfume is a 2024 release from the Santa Maria Novella Giardini Medici collection, and this has notes of bergamot, amber, myrrh, patchouli, and sandalwood. This is stunning. I immediately loved this perfume. It is just myrrh, amber, and a little bit of citrus. It is simple, it is elegant, but it is not at all heavy. It's like an airy, feathery amber. So the patchouli is there, it's present, but it's almost green and fresh. It's never, ever overwhelming. And I am a total sucker for myrrh in perfumes. Of all the resins and bases for incense perfumes, myrrh is definitely my favorite. And this is a very, very beautiful myrrh perfume. I think this is a perfume that anyone could wear. And I would also say that this is not just for cold weather. Usually when you think of like ambers and incense perfumes, you think of perfumes for colder weather. But I could definitely see 1 or 2 sprays of this like on the backs of your knees being absolutely spectacular in warm weather because of how light and airy this amber feels. So the perfume obsessive in me says, I want a full bottle of this and I want it immediately. But the budget conscious realist in me says that I would be quite happy and satisfied with a 5 to 10 ml decant of this perfume. I think that would be plenty, and I will probably seek that out this year. I sampled a perfume I received in a box with my latest fragrance net order, and I was really looking forward to it for two reasons. One, it was not the usual purple carded vial of that perfume exceptional that you get in like every damn order from Fragrance Net. And two, it was a Jeanne perfume. And that is a brand that I usually find has like amazing, affordable gems. So this perfume that I got a sample of was called Morning Flowers. And looking at the carded sample, I wondered if Jeanne was trying to create like a more upscale looking line. I looked it up and I saw that this perfume comes from their collection called Privé. So I thought, okay, this might be a really good one. And I looked up the notes. It was lemon, jasmine, rose, sugar, musk, vanilla, and ambroxan. So I was like, maybe this is going to smell like a little bit of like a Turkish delight type perfume. I sprayed this on my hand and instantly hated it. The initial blast of this was pure alcohol, like rubbing alcohol. And then it immediately turned into rose tar, but make it like an exceptionally sweet rose tar. So this one was actually a scrubber for me. And hours later, after I had been doing dishes, after washing my hands multiple times, it was still there wafting off my skin. It was relentless. When it comes to sugared rose perfumes, I think there are many others out there that fit the brief much better, even if they are more expensive. And this perfume is a really good example of why it's sometimes better to just spend a little extra on a bottle of perfume that you know you love rather than blind buy affordables, which just ends up feeling like you're kissing a lot of frogs. So I don't even know if I can put this one in the share bowl. That's how much I dislike this one. So since December, I have been playing with the perfumes from the LT Piver Discovery set that I received as a gift from a friend. And I was so excited to get this set because I am obsessed with revival brands, brands like Grossmith, Sherigan, Bien-Aimé. I love to see what new owners are doing to revive some of these heritage brands that almost went extinct. LT Piver lotions and colognes are still available very inexpensively. So the current owners of the brand LT Piver have taken all of the formulas that were created from 1774 through 1907, and they have reinterpreted them while still remaining true to the originals. The bottles are gorgeous. They are very French apothecary in style, and just poking around on their website is a feast for the eyes. And I did a little bit of a deeper dive into two of the perfumes from the set this month. The first one is Reine de Fleurs. Reine de Fleurs means Queen of Flowers, and it opens with this very bright lemony essence. And after looking up the notes, I saw that it wasn't actually lemon, but petitgrain, which is extracted from like the greenery and the twigs of the orange tree. So it's very citrusy in the opening. It turns aromatic and herbal with some lovely lavender, some rosemary, and some thyme. It definitely has that like vintage apothecary kind of feel to it. So then I also wore Rêve d'Or, and that is LT Piver's take on a fruity floral. And in that perfume, you have the classic raspberry rose saffron profile, but they add like a bubbly effervescence to it with some nice aldehydes. Now, what I thought made these perfumes kind of interesting is that the modern aroma chemicals that are added to the reimagined formulas, they allow the perfumes to retain their heritage style, but they also make them very long-lasting and diffusive without going into that rubbery realm. So I am really glad that I have been able to spend time with this discovery set. Thank you to my very, very generous friend. And I'm going to keep studying them. I'm going to keep wearing them. Right now, I can't quite pick a favorite because they are all quite lovely and very, very good perfumes. Okay, next I sampled a perfume called Parisian Embrace from a brand called Sentier on my hand. So this is a brand I was totally unfamiliar with. I got a decant of this in a swap with a real life friend. I have a real life perfume friend. Okay, so I am a little bit confused by this brand. After looking at their website, I thought for sure that this was a dupe house. But since this is the only perfume that I've ever tried by this brand, I can't really say for sure. So assuming this is not a dupe house, I would say that this perfume is very, very designery smelling. It's very much in the neighborhood or style of your designer sweet fruity vanillas. So the notes in this perfume are peach, pear, nectarine, almond, licorice, brown sugar, and vanilla. So this is a very, very, very sweet perfume, but in a perfumey kind of way. Very much in the neighborhood of like the Gaultier La Belle line, like La Vie Belle, a little bit like Black Opium, very much in that neighborhood. I did not think that the quality of this perfume was nearly as good as those perfumes that I just mentioned. But again, I am always happy to smell and smell and smell because it is in the smelling that we determine what we like and what we consider good. So what I consider good and what someone else considers good can be two totally different things. So I would be really curious though to know if anyone else has tried this brand or this perfume and what you thought of it. Or if there's anything else from this brand that you've tried that you think I should check out. So next, I sampled a perfume that has been sitting in my sample stash for I don't even know how long, and it is Untold Absolu from Elizabeth Arden. I have seen Cass talk about this one. I have seen Ron from My Fragrance Journey talk about this one. And so I was like, let me give this one a sniff. This is gorgeous. This is a powdery, fruity floral with lots and lots of depth. This has gorgeous florals. It's jasmine absolute, narcissus, rosewater. It is plummy and beautiful. I would say if you did not want to spend the money on Musk Noir Rose, this is a really good alternative at around a $20 price point. I have stood at perfume counters at department stores and smelled perfumes that are 5 times the price and just as good quality. I feel like Elizabeth Arden is just ripe with affordable gems. This is one of the best affordable gems. It used to come in this gorgeous faceted bottle that's not in production anymore. Now it's in like more of a generic style bottle. I'm not sure if this has been reformulated or not, but the sample that I have is absolutely stunning. And I would 1000% add a bottle of this to my collection because this is a perfume I know I would wear and wear and wear frequently. So then mid-month, I received a surprise package from Jill. Thank you, Jill. And that was so kind of you. I was so excited. And in that package was a sample of a perfume that I'd heard Wendy talking about, and I was considering a blind buy, but now I get to sample it first, and that is Sensuous Stars from Estee Lauder. So this line from Estee Lauder was fabulous. I've sampled a few other perfumes from the line. It's now discontinued. It is one of those perfume lines that I should have snatched a few bottles from when they were on clearance for a steal because they are just really nice, easy wearing scents. So Sensuous Stars is basically a plummy iris with just a little tiny bit of soft lavender. It is absolutely lovely. And this is a perfume that I have added to my secondhand saved searches in the hopes that I will stumble upon a nicely priced partial. Just a really pretty perfume. And finally, in my package from Jill, a perfume that I have become enamored with in just a few short days, and have not stopped wearing to bed. It's a perfume that Luke has talked about, and now I totally get it. It's Angel Stellar from Mugler. This is your classic angel profile with a lighter hand on the patchouli and then a beautiful hefty dose of pistachio. The nutty pistachio with that angel DNA is a match made in heaven. It is perfumey scrumptiousness. And I would say that if you miss or if you missed out on Angel Muse, this is like her softer, lighter sister. Okay, so there are all of the perfumes that I have been sampling during the month of January. Again, this is something I really wanted to get back into this year after last year's blind buying blitz. More samples, fewer bottles, more exploration of scent, more study of scent, more enjoyment of fragrances and perfumes without adding to my collection. And I would say that January has me off to a really good start. Even though I didn't love everything I sampled, I certainly enjoyed smelling it all. So if you've tried or own any of these perfumes I've sampled, I would love to know what you think. Did you smell these in similar ways, in different ways? I always love to hear your thoughts in the comments. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for spending your time here with me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.